Yes, we are coming in. We are coming in here to LinkedIn. So excited. Listen, my dear friends, we were on and then it kicked us off. But you know what? The party does not stop. We are going to keep going. We are going to keep going. We are going to dialogue because this is important information that you need. And I'm so excited to be joined by my dear, dear friend, Felice. I'm so excited. And we are on. Yes, I'm looking over here. I'm just looking at the platform, making sure because we were just going and it kicked us off last time.
Wow. Isn't that, you know what? That's all right because what they
Yes,
say is it look, we're gonna
yes,
keep doing what we need to do.
that's it.
It is all good. It
That's
is
it,
all
Felice.
good.
That is it. Yes. So
Yes.
we are going to just, we're going to do a little rewind. And once again, my name is Alicia Houston. I'm the president and founder of the Culture Crew, where we bring in the brain as we deal with organizational enhancement for your culture, for your people, for your leadership. And we deal with small and medium-sized businesses in the realm of healthcare, where that's so important for what we're going to be talking about today, and for technology and our beautiful nonprofit space. So joining me is my dear, dear friend and colleague, Felice Martin. Felice, tell us about you, beautiful.
Yes, I am so excited to be here and to sit with you. Yes, we are colleagues and we know each other on so many different levels. And
Yeah.
I tell you, I am a licensed professional counselor, neuro coach, neuro leader. Those are all the ABCs and EFGs and all that stuff around my name. And what I do is I help people to design their mind. I call myself
Ooh,
the mind designer.
ooh,
Okay.
the
And so what
mind.
that means is basically I help you move from point A to point B. I have a thriving mental health practice in the great state of Georgia. In addition to that, I also work with other mental health professionals, training them to use
Mm,
neuroscience as they work with their clients.
I
That's an
love it.
overview of what I do, and I am here to serve. In addition to that, I am a neurofeedback practitioner. So
Yeah.
and we'll be talking about that as we segue and move on in our conversation.
Yeah, this is so exciting. So we're only going to be with you for about 25 minutes, my dear friends. We like to keep it short, succinct, bite-sized. The first thing, we heard some terms, right? Neurofeedback. We heard the mind designer. We're going to get into all of that. Before we begin, I want all of you to be fully present. And so, I had asked Felice previously, what is one thing we can do to just be present in our moments? Sometimes we can get stressed, we have anxiety, there's a lot going on in the world, there's a lot of outside feedback happening right
Yeah.
now. So, what is one tactic tool that we can apply right in this moment, Felice, to
Yes.
calm that central nervous system, to calm us, the person?
Yes. So in this moment, what we're going to do is use the power of the breath.
Mm,
It's something so simple.
mm.
We just breathe and we take a breath and we hold it and we exhale it. We take a breath, we hold it, and we exhale. And the power of the breath really does help to quiet the central nervous system. It
Mm-hmm.
helps to quiet the body.
Yeah,
It helps us to focus.
yeah.
There's a lot, like you mentioned, going on in the outside world around us, in front of us, in us. And so no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter where you are, always remember to breathe.
Mm, I love
I
it.
shared earlier that there's a video, and I share this when I do presentations. And in this video, there's an image of an unamplified brain and an amplified brain. So what it does is it allows us to see what happens when we breathe. And so when
Wow.
we look at this video, we see it's almost as if the breath is massaging the brain.
Mm,
It's so beautiful, so
wow.
powerful.
So breath is a brain massage. So
There you go. I love that.
yeah,
Yes,
and
breath is a brain massage.
brain massage, and breath is like we need breath to live this life. So
Exactly.
so breath is
Exactly.
very important, and I think a lot of times we dismiss things that we feel are Oh, that's ethereal. That's all touchy feely. It's not.
Yeah,
We need to breathe to live. So
right.
don't you think breath is powerful? And it, like you said, it gives the brain a massage. It brings oxygen to the brain.
Yes,
So that is crucial
yes.
because we need our brain to thrive, right, Felice?
Absolutely. We need
Yeah.
our brain to thrive. And if you
Yeah.
want to practice and you don't believe that, just hold your breath and see what
Oh,
happens.
and see what happens. I like that challenge. I love that.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, yes.
So as I listen, I have my notes down here for the amazing Felice because she deals with, I mean, like she said, neurofeedback. She is a mental health professional to mental health professionals, right? She trains
Yes.
them. So before, as we're beginning, let's talk about, I want to make sure we talk about first and foremost, what is your mighty mission?
Yes, my mighty mission is to train 1 million mental health professionals in neuroscience, advanced
Mm,
neuroscience, so that
mm,
they can use this information and help not only themselves, but also their clients to
yeah.
thrive, to
Yes.
heal, to embrace their calling. And
Wow.
that's exactly what I do. Now,
Mm,
listen, one thing, and I tell them all the time, if you're a mental health professional, you either have a master's degree or you have a doctorate degree.
yes.
So we're smart. We know that. We've done the work. But the great thing is to remember
Mm,
that we can take this complex information and make it practical. So a wise person, one who can take something so complex and break it down in such a way that a 5-year-old can understand it,
yeah.
then I tell you, you are powerful when you can do
Yes.
that. And I
Yes.
know that it is possible. So I
Wow.
take complex information, break it down to its most simplest form so that we
Yeah.
can understand and we can apply it in a practical manner in our lives.
That's powerful. So tell us in your simplest form, what is neurofeedback?
Neurofeedback is exercise for the brain.
Mm, look at that. I just get a brain. I've seen
There you
images
go.
of brains with muscles. That
There
is.
you go. There you go. So we're exercising those brain waves. That's all we're doing. We're training. We're
Mm,
training. So that's it. And the way we do it, feedback is what we do. We utilize different electrodes. We put them on
okay.
the scalp, so nothing
Okay.
is going inside the brain.
Okay.
And what we do is we're just providing feedback. So,
Wow.
for example, and I always say this: if you think about your telephone, all
Yeah.
right, everybody knows that ring, they know that beep, they know all of that, so much so that you may hear somebody else's phone ringing or beeping and you may turn and think it's yours, but
Yes.
it's not, right?
Mm,
So that's your brain being trained for certain sounds.
right.
And you get feedback. And you may feel, oh, I'm excited. I need to get this call. You feel that going on. And so that's basically what neurofeedback is. We're
Yeah.
constantly training our brains even now.
Right, right. I love this. So let's go a little deeper into the neurofeedback process, right? Um, and I know you've worked with some very young and some very seasoned individuals,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so, what does that process look like? What does neurofeedback, this process that you are training other healthcare professionals on, what does this look like? What's the value of this process, and what does that look like a little bit so our audience can understand?
Right. So the value of the process is being able to, like I said, understand what's going on in the
Mm,
brain. We hear a lot about anxiety. We hear a lot about depression. We hear
yeah,
a lot about the ASD spectrum. And
right,
so basically what neurofeedback is, what I do is I would bring my client in, we
okay,
would assess the brain. We would see where is that over arousal in the brain, where is that under arousal in the brain? And then we would have a specific training or
mm,
workout plan specifically for the presenting what the brain is telling us.
yeah,
And so one thing I know when I think about, let's start with ADHD,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
we would do a protocol to address those attention issues,
Mm.
those attention concerns. And so once we're able to address those attention concerns, we address them by giving the brain feedback. There may be a screen. One thing, and I have this little kid in my mind that I'm thinking about right now. We would have a screen, and I always say, what TV shows do you like? So
Yeah.
we'd put the TV show up on the screen, and
Yeah.
then we would also put a dimmer on the screen. So
Okay.
in order for the person to see the show that they like, their brain has to do what we have primed it to do.
Yes.
Right. And so it's so cool. So the screen will light up when the brain is meeting the protocol that we've designed for
Yes.
it. And when it's not, when it's floating and it's not focused, then the screen goes dark.
Dims. Okay.
Yes. And so the brain is going to say, I want more of that. And so the brain has to focus.
That
Yes.
is so cool.
So they get that reward. Isn't that cool? It's
No,
so
that
cool.
is really cool. And this is the power of, let's be clear, the power of science and technology merging to create an amplified result that is beautiful for that person that's receiving their weight training
Ex-
protocol, right? Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
that's what we do. Yeah, yeah. It is so
Oh.
it's so beautiful, Alicia, when
Oh,
you see and I'll go as far as you want me to go, but I must tell you this story.
okay.
A person that came into my practice and they were working through some anxiety,
Okay.
right? There was some trauma stuff,
Okay.
working through some anxiety. And basically what happens, I walked into the waiting area
Yeah.
to call the person back, and I could see all the anxiety. Like literally, I could see their disposition was so just anxious.
Wow.
So we did a little breath work, did a little breathing to calm them down,
Yeah.
did an assessment. And when
Yeah.
they came in, they were at a 21 with
Okay.
their anxiety level.
Okay.
After 20 trainings,
Okay.
so if you think about, you go to your
Yeah.
trainer,
Yeah.
you go after 20 sessions, and even before 20 sessions, but basically, because at 10 sessions, you're going to see some change. At
Okay.
20, they went from a 21, they came in at a 21, that's severe anxiety.
Okay.
And when they finished their training, after 20, they were at a 1.
Workout sessions from
Okay.
21 to 1.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow. And like you
Yes.
said, workout sessions. This is working out. These are sessions. This is just like you going to your trainer because
Yes.
you're training your body. Now you're training your brain, like you said, to focus, to do what it needs to do. Oh
Yes.
my goodness,
Yes.
Felice. Okay,
Yes.
so okay, I'm
Yes.
so excited right now. So with this, okay, Alicia, calm down, calm your brain.
Hey, I'm there with you. I'm there with you. It's so exciting, and you get that
So
feedback. Take
with
your
this,
time.
you were talking about like you've worked with children very you've worked what's the youngest to the most seasoned you've worked with?
Yes. So you're looking at age 5
Okay.
all the way up to 65.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
And
Yes.
phenomenal results when they
Plus,
oh
right?
wow.
Whoever comes in. So you're going to see a lot of that. Just be on the lookout. You'll see opportunities to do an assessment and see kind of, a pre and post when
Yeah.
see, okay, where am I?
Yeah.
What fitness areas, what brain areas do I work on? You will see that, and that would create a space and an opportunity to go further with me or the even get a referral for neurofeedback. And
Wow.
it's so, Alicia, I get so you're excited. I get so
Yeah.
excited because of
Yeah.
the benefits, the value.
Yes.
I just told you of a couple of stories,
Right.
right?
Right. And
So,
Felice,
yeah.
people want to live whole lives, right? They don't want to be in a trauma state, right? They don't want to be in a reclusive state. They don't want to be depressed. They want to live joy. They want to have deep satisfaction. And
Mhm.
so this is a really powerful breakthrough that you're bringing to the
Yes.
forefront, that you're going to be training other therapists with, because this needs to be utilized in schools, governmental agencies, med schools. There's a lot of stress in medical school,
Yeah.
people going through different things in the world, and how
Right.
beautiful that you could have these individuals train in
Yeah.
different states, different areas, and they could mobilize this level of healing
Right. Exactly.
and giving
And
people life.
yes,
Like we
giving them
talked about
life.
breath, this is like
Yes.
breathing life into
Y-
people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Imagine if a person can't sleep. Imagine if a person can't focus. Imagine
Right.
an executive who is stressing out and using other coping
Right.
mechanisms that aren't very they're helping, but
Right.
they're not very helpful. They don't
Right.
give them that quality of life that they need. And so
Wow.
imagine being able to look at your brain, just like you go into your cardiologist and you do the EKGs and all of
Right.
those types of things. Just imagine being able to see your brain waves
Wow.
in
Wow.
real time, and then you so that gives you an idea of what's going on, so you
Yeah.
see the before and you see the after, and there's a walk, there's a level of confidence, there's a level of clarity, there's a level of focus that is brought out. And when that happens, we create, when I talk about those million people,
Right.
just imagine the legacy that's created. Imagine as an executive, you're going in, you're leading your team, and you're
Yes.
stressed out, and the stomach all hurting and all those
Yes.
things. That happens. Life happens, stuff happens. And so there is hope. There
Wow.
is hope. And that's what neurofeedback does. That's what neurofeedback does. It trains, it creates, it creates a sense of like I said, autonomy, that exercise, that confidence.
Woo.
So, we can see, it's just so much. You can see a person,
Yeah.
they go into their trainer and they want to lose 10 pounds and they want to
Right.
do these things. Yeah, you can do certain things, but there's work that you have to do. So
That
that's the
part.
same thing. Just think about that. Think about that. That's the same thing here. Very
Yeah.
similar. We
Yeah.
go in, you're saying, hey, look, I can't focus. I'm dealing with some attention issues. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with some impulsiveness.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
dealing
Yes.
working through that. And so what I'm doing now is we see it, we know it, and then we create a space and opportunity to train the brain working out. That's what it is.
That's beautiful. And
Feedback.
so I have to ask from my lens where I am in my life today, in that space of like, the brain, we've heard the brain fog, all of those things that
Yeah.
really does affect the brain when you're in perimenopause, menopause, right?
Yes.
So this is for our more seasoned conversations, right? But
Yes.
even if you're a man watching this, you may have a sister, a wife, a significant other. All of us know other women in our lives.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, how is there a baseline? Does that help? How can it help? It does it because I can tell you myself, even my focus was much sharper when I was a little bit
Yeah.
younger than as
Right.
I'm, aging and becoming more seasoned, right? And so I'm doing things to focus my mind to maintain that level of focus. Is
Yeah.
this a tool that can support that? And how does that kind of work knowing that this is real,
Yes, absolutely. So let me tell you, it works. It's great for perimenopause, all
Okay.
the things, hormone, and even for, I mean, men deal with it too. So
Yes.
the person I was talking about that dealing with anxiety, that was a male. So
Yes.
now I'm talking about a young person, well, and I always say younger person, a
Yes.
seasoned real estate agent who was unable to read through contracts and was
Ooh.
unable to focus and just
Yes.
reading the same line over and
Ooh.
over and again,
Been
right?
there. Been there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
Mm.
so going doing our training, during the neurofeedback training, and even with neurofeedback training, we can there's a protocol where I may have you reading something.
Oh,
And so
okay.
we're able to see what's going on. Are you um, out of focus? Are you, what's going on in the brain when you're reading? We're
Wow.
able to see that. And then
Wow.
we're able to have a protocol that says, okay, this is what we need to do. These are the exercises that we need to do. This is, and I'm not going to get too technical with it,
Right.
but there are different frequencies that we would work through,
Wow.
different brain waves that we would train in order to create that sense of focus and reduce the foggy brain. And
Wow.
it's just so beautiful. And so when this person came back, they were like,
Yeah.
"Yes, Felice, I was able to focus. My recall is sharper, and it's exercise. That's what it is. It's
Okay.
exercise." And I tell you, typically we say we start seeing some really good changes in 10 sessions, 10
Okay.
trainings,
Okay.
20 sessions. It's just like, yeah, okay, what's going on? I'm
Wow.
there. I'm all the way there. And then we do follow-up sessions and things of that nature. So yes, to answer your question, we all,
Wow.
and I am that too, we go through those hormonal changes and those hormonal shifts. And there are this neurofeedback is a way to address those times of being
Yeah.
foggy brain. That's what I call it, foggy brain. And you
This
can
is
see it. It's so cool.
beautiful. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. So we have about 5 minutes left. So I am, and I know my mouth has been open a lot because I'm just sitting here like, oh my goodness, this is powerful, right?
Right.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then I want you to speak on this. What type of brain waves are you measuring? What are you looking at? You talked about the nodes, right? I love how you kind of relate it to the EKG or ECG.
Yeah.
People call it
Mhm.
either one.
Right.
So what type of brain waves are you looking at? And you also you've been the one that has also participated, right? Like I want you to talk
Yes.
about that a little bit because sometimes people are speaking from a perspective that they've read something
Oh
or they've read a
no.
manual or they've done some certifications, right? I've gotten
Yeah.
but so I'd love for you to kind of talk about this, like what it's measured, what it's looking at, and then
Okay.
your personal experience to a degree, because you said you're in that boat too. So I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna give me sign me up.
Yes, 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 yes,
So
yes.
yeah, go for it.
Yes. So let's think about it. So basically, and I'm going to give you a quick overview. There are brain waves. There's some electricity. There's power that is in the brain wave. So we have five brain waves. We have the delta. We have the theta brain wave. We have the beta brain wave. We have the alpha brain wave. Or let me switch those over. And then alpha, beta, and then we have the gamma. All
Okay.
right. And so those are the brain waves that we're training. There's a certain level of electricity that these brain waves emit,
Okay.
or yeah. And so we would train those based on what's going on in the brain. Okay.
Okay.
And so when we talk about, so that's a quick overview. So just
Yeah.
remember five. We would look at those five brain waves. If a person is dealing with a lot of um, they're tired, like the delta brain wave is a large brain wave. And so if you imagine the waves and the ocean, so that delta brain wave is really what is impacted when we sleep,
Oh,
right? So if we
okay.
see a lot of delta or that theta brain wave, that REM sleep brain wave in someone in the front part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, that
Yeah.
thinking, that boss CEO part of the brain, if
Yes.
we see a lot of that, then that's saying you're not focused. You see
Ah,
how that works? Right. And
yes.
so we would look at those things. And I don't want to spend a lot of time
No,
there, but
that's
they give you,
perfect.
right. So that gives you that oversight. And then even when you look at, for me, when I was doing training, I went through a program. We have there's the Trauma Research Foundation, and I always say the Dr. Basil Vanderkolk is one of the preeminent
Mm,
researchers, him and his
okay.
team at the Trauma Research Foundation. So
Okay.
I went through that training. I was doing a lot of trauma training, and then neurofeedback has been proven to help even with trauma. Right. And
Wow.
so trauma manifests through anxiety, through depression. It impacts different areas of our brain. So went through that training and then went deeper, invested in myself
Yes.
because I said, you know what, this is working.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
long term impacts, so this is working. Let's go ahead and do that. So went through that type of training,
Okay.
went deeper, and then really focused on the neurofeedback. And for me, as a part of my training, I met one of the trainers there is from Oklahoma. That's where I'm from.
Uh-huh.
Quick story. So I'm hooked up doing my training, and there was a focus training. And so as I'm literally doing this training, my in my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder if she knows this person. I wonder if she knows that person. And as my thinking was going off.
Going
The,
off.
the feedback was there. The screen dimmed. I'm telling you, isn't that something? And so I was like, okay, Felice, focus, focus. And when I focused, when I was able to bring myself back into focus and looking at that screen, the screen lit up. The reward was there, and I was just like, this
Wow.
is phenomenal.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes,
This is
ma'am.
awesome.
So, yes, it
This is
is.
awesome.
It
Okay.
is. Yes,
This
yes.
has been so enlightening. I want to encourage everybody that is watching this, watching the replay, please reach out to Felice. You know, she speaks at colleges. She speaks, I mean, all of the medical professional organizations.
Yes.
Bring her in, and it doesn't. And I'm telling you, we need this in our schools. We need this everywhere because this is how we can thrive, how we can function at a high level, right? We talk about
Yes.
that
Yes.
high vibe life. Like, let's
Yes.
have that high vibrational life, right? Let's have these
Absolutely.
waves functioning at their
Yeah.
highest in their at peak performance. Like we want
Yeah.
this type of life. So please connect
Yes.
with Felice on LinkedIn. You will see all of her information. Just connect with her, have a conversation, open doors. If you know people that need that, make warm introductions. This work is so important. And if
It
you are a
is.
healthcare practitioner, please reach out. This is just so needed in our world. I'm so excited
Absolutely.
to have had you, Felice. Is there any last little thing you want to leave us with as we are designing our mind?
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? Let me leave you with this one. And it's so funny. One thing that I love about myself is that when you can laugh at yourself and you can
Yes.
dance like nobody is watching and all those things. So listen to this. Remember this law. Energy goes where energy flows. Okay.
Yes.
Neurons that fire together, wire together. So I'm
Mm.
going to show you this, and it's
Okay.
going to be so funny because I love my sense of humor. So listen to this. Energy goes where energy flows.
Oh,
Energy goes where energy flows. So we're
okay.
just going to
Come
remember
on.
that. Energy
Oh,
goes where energy flows. And it's so funny. I was telling one of my clients about that, and she was like, you know, that thing that you said, energy goes where energy flows. I was like, yeah, you remember. Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, energy
yes.
goes where energy flows.
Yes.
Thank you
That's,
so much, Alicia. I
oh,
appreciate you. I really do. This has been
I
such an
appreciate you.
amazing
I
time.
just deeply appreciate your time, your willingness to share your wisdom, your insights, and really give us a new ways that we can manage at a high vibrational level, all the way down to being mindful of our breath, right? Is so
Absolutely.
important. So thank you, Felice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been a joy. I can't wait for you all. Just keep watching this, right? Just keep watching it. And then even if you need to, you can, after you watch it a couple times, go back to the rewind where the energy
Hmm.
goes, where energy flows.
Energy goes where energy flows.
Flows.
Energy
Hey,
goes where energy
love it. I
flows.
love it.
I
Thank you,
love
thank
it.
you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you. It's been a pleasure. And until next time, the quintessence of leadership. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. Do you have some thoughts, comments, questions as well? Drop them below. I'd love to hear them and actually respond to you as well. Don't forget to hit that little bell that you see because it'll notify you next time any new opportunities are posted to this channel. So, thank you again. And until next time, remember, continue to build trust to transform, whether it's transforming your community, your home, your business, your workplace, your voice is required. Looking forward to seeing you then. Bye.